Good afternoon folks, welcome to Portugal and welcome to the launch event of probably one of the coolest looking motorcycles I have ever got to ride. This is of course Yamaha's lovely XSR900 GP, which is an evolution and a change and a new model within the XSR900 family. So it's got that CP3 motor, it's got the same frame as the MT09 and the XSR900, but there are big changes at the front end, at the back end, with the braking system, and in the overall character of the bike, which I'm going to try and go through for you right now. What I'm also going to try and go through for you when my iPad wakes up is a little bit of a high level overview. And Yamaha said something it really stuck with me with this bike, and that it was sort of designed for rose tinted racers. So these are the racers that can remember the Rainies and the Schwantzes and the Neil Mackenzies racing in Grand Prix on bikes that looked very much like this, but without the lights and the indicators and the mirrors. But now they want to get back into that, but if they do, then they need to go and buy a really old OW01, which costs an absolute fortune. It's probably not going to be as reliable, and it might not even ride quite as well as this thing will on the road. Or they need to buy a modern bike and they need to take it to a custom shop and they need to spend 20 or 25 or 30,000 pounds making it look like one of these. That's really the ethos for it. And Yamaha they've coined it with the blurb of the bike, and they've said that it's designed to evoke memories of the golden era. The XSR900 GP is the ultimate blend of heritage racing style combined with the latest cutting-edge technology to offer a thrilling ride and simulate the senses in a way that nothing else can. It does tick a lot of those boxes, and we've been out here in Portugal today. We've ridden it on road, we've ridden it on track, and I've had a ball, and I'm quite excited to tell you about it, to be honest with you. So these things are rolling into Yamaha dealerships, and they are £12,506, which is a little bit of a strange price tag for a bike. You'd expect 12,599 or 12,499 or 12,000, but 12,506 is the price of this thing in the UK. That gets you the base bike. It doesn't get you the belly pan, which you've probably also seen on some of the bikes that have been in the press. So there is a full bottom fairing if you want to buy that. I think it's about 500 or 600 pounds. There is also a race kit which does away with the underslung exhaust that you can see down here, and you get a nice little Akrapovic end can that sort of sits up here, and you still get the catalytic converter underneath the bike. Engine wise, there aren't massive changes to the performance specification or the technical detail of the engine, so you're still getting 119 PS or 117.3 bhp. You're still getting the same 93 newton meters or 68 pound-foot of torque that you get with the MT09 and the XSR900, and there is no A2 version of this bike. So there is no A2 version because it is too powerful in its stock configuration for them to be able to make it A2. Moving on to the chassis, so we have still got KYB suspension. It's still fully adjustable, and it is the same outwardly, it's the same hardware that you get on the XSR900. What has changed is the spring rate, the damping rates, and also you've got slightly less travel. So at the front we've got 130 mil of travel, at the rear we've got 131 millimeters of travel. Interestingly, you've also got more adjustability in this bike than you have on the XSR900 or the MT09. So where the MT09s get different steps in the adjustability, you get more on this bike, which does make it slightly more able to dial that into how you like to ride it, if you are riding it on track or if you are riding it on road. Out on the roads today and out on the track, the suspension is just as plush as you felt on the XSR900 or the MT09, because it's lost that travel, but it's gained a little bit of preload and it's gained a little bit of rebound damping and compression damping. It's still got that plushness, and it's still got that really nice composure that you get on a decently well set up sports bike. If there was one comment that I would sort of make, is that I would probably add some more preload to the rear shock absorber for the road and track ride riding that we're doing today. And that's not so much to affect the handling or the squat of the bike, because it doesn't really squat that much. It's just to get the bike just sat on its nose a little bit more, rather than being so level when you're coming into corners and you get on the brakes. You just want it just to be a little bit more pointy and a little bit more sharp. Other than that though, out on the road and on the track at Estoril, it is a very flowing bike. It loves to sort of flow from side to side, but there is also a very nadgery little left-right uphill sort of hairpin S's that you have to navigate at Estoril before you get onto the main straight, which is quite a it's not a nice corner. It's not one you enjoy taking, because it's very low speed and you're flopping from one side to the other. In that situation, the 200 kg XSR900 GP also performed very, very well, which I was quite impressed about, because normally the bikes that they like the flowing stuff, they only like that, but this one kind of likes both of them. You've got decent spec Bridgestone S23 hoops on it as well, so you know they're going to heat up quickly. And today we weren't doing full laps of the circuit, we were only working on one particular section and then coming back again, which was a little bit annoying, I'm not going to lie. But with the tyres going cold in between runs, you could get straight back onto the track, go for your run and not be worried about the tyres being too cold, losing grip. They came up to heat really very quickly, which was all good to see. I'm going to talk about the braking system. So this has got the same upgrade that the MT-09 got, which is a Brembo radially mounted master cylinder, which was, I want to be doing what they're doing, which was a radially mounted Brembo master cylinder, which completely transformed the braking system for me, because the brakes on the older MT-09, which would have been the ones that went on this effectively, were really sharp, and you didn't have to put any millimeters into the brake lever, and all of a sudden it would be sort of grabbing the front wheel, and it wasn't a very nice feeling. This has got a nice progressive lever feel. The power's good. The only thing that's changed on the braking system is the pipe that links the right caliper to the left caliper is slightly thinner, and that is just to improve the lever feel and to help sort of when you're in higher braking applications. So if you're riding on track, for instance, that is something that Yamaha think can help you. You've still got the IMU control, so you've still got the ABS, you've still got you can adjust the ABS levels, so that's all still there, because the whole TFT electronics package is carried over from the MT-09 and the XSR900, so absolutely nothing to worry about on that front. Going back to the handling, one of the things that struck me about the bike is that it's got so much in relation to the XSR900, the naked bike. I mean, to look at it, you would think that it was just a change of handlebars and they've whacked on a fairing and then sent it out the door. But dynamically, when you ride it, the character, the way it turns and the way it feels when it's in a turn is very, very different to the XSR900. And it all comes down to that, the way they've balanced the suspension and the sort of poise and the stance that they've given the bike completely changes it. They've also managed somehow to change the feel and the sound and the delivery of it, even though the engine is predominantly very, very similar to the XSRs. There's not really any discernible differences that you will feel out on the road, or I felt out on the road today. But it's just got a slightly different character. And I think it comes down to this stuff. Because the engine's kind of cocooned within the fairings, the upper fairings of the bike, it sort of resonates the engine noise, and especially the valve train, which is at the top of the engine, it kind of carries that up to you, to your ears, where it would be getting lost behind you. So it just feels a little bit more raucous and just feels like it's up for a really good time. Electronics wise, like I said, you've got the same suite, the same package as the XSR Naked, MT-09 as well. The only thing that I would have preferred to have seen on this was maybe some more levels of adjustability. So if you go into the YRC menu, which is where you can adjust the wheelie control, the traction control, the slide control, and all the other good stuff, you've only got what seemed to be level 1 minimum, level 2 medium, and level 3 high. I would have liked to have seen if this was a bit more track focused and they put a bit more ability in the suspensions, but there wasn't any more into the sort of electronics package of the bike, which I would have personally liked to have seen. I'm going to move on to the verdict, because it's been a really, really good day on this bike, and there is such a lot to like. It's almost a shame that most of the ones that are going to come to the UK, they're going to sell out really, really quickly, and most of the ones that are going to every other European nation, they are going to sell out really, really quickly. And the main reason for that is nobody's ridden them yet, and they look at it and it evokes a feeling in their mind, and it says something to them, and it talks to them about a particular period in their life when they can remember these things racing on track, and that's why they've gone out and bought it. Best thing is they're going to get on it on the road, and they're going to ride it, and they're going to be absolutely blown away, because it is really very good. As a sports bike, taking the retro thing out of the equation, as a proper sports bike, this is bloody good. It could hold its own on a track day if you're better than me, and it's really fast on the road. I mean, Yamaha would have had to have worked really hard to make the XSR900 bad, and they've made it better in so many little ways that you have to have ridden an MT-09 a lot to pick up on, but they've made it better in pretty much every way. And there's a lot of people who've put deposits down on these things who are going to get a real surprise when their XSR900 GPs get delivered to them, because yeah, you've got a really good thing coming. I spoke to James McComb from Yamaha Motor Europe earlier on. We were talking about the concept of this, and this bike was cancelled so many times, but the fact that it's made it here and we've now ridden it, we've seen the concepts, all the rest of it, very, very happy. Yeah, if I was looking to buy a sports bike this year, I'd probably be getting one of these. Anyway, I've waffled on for far long enough, folks. I've been towed for Visordown. If you've liked that one, please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to head over to Visordown for all the latest news, reviews and motorcycle features. See you on the next one.